the big screen for us to see
Started,
questions.
I don't know what you did. Now I'm the gal that's chasing you up. Really flip my lid. Come here, eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Well, what are you gonna do with this eager beaver, baby of mine? Ooh, I'm always there beside you, no matter where you stop. I'll follow you to movies, even to the barber shop. Now, eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Well, what are you gonna do with this eager beaver, baby of mine?
Hello and welcome to
Was that an orgy?
Woo! I think it was. I think it was.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what an orgy is. We're all friends.
Hello, friends and neighbors. We are a sex positive show where basically you get to sit with a couple of body sisters for an hour or so, and we get to talk about things. We're going to talk about love, sex, romance, orgies. I don't know if we'll talk that much about orgies today.
We're pretty much going to talk about whatever we fucking feel like talking about.
That's right. We might even talk about her vagina for a while. That's how we roll.
Well, it is pretty amazing.
Well, Scarface. Yeah, Scarface is amazing.
That is one of its nicknames. Orangutan with a head wound is one. Scarface is another.
Don't tickle me, Elmo.
Yeah, tickle me, Smelmo.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
So clearly, as you could tell by the intro, this is not a space for sensitive ears. So if you haven't figured it out by now, put in some earbuds. For the love of God, please go walk away from your children unless they're 21 and older.
Or unless you're really liberal.
Yeah.
Liberal as fuck, then go for it.
Then it's okay, because we are going to say things like fuck and orgy and vagina.
Yeah. And you saw one of my bandmates, like her 4-year-old wrote a new song called Motherfucking Fuck. Motherfucking fuck.
So good.
So cute. So I don't know, I'm cool with cussing.
Hey,
keep your kids in the room if you're
my
cool
kids,
with it.
my kids wrote a song. I think Stella was like 4 years old, and I decided that we would let them swear in the car as long as the windows were up. Yeah. And the first thing they say is, "We're fucking in the car. We're fucking in the car. We're fucking in Mom's brain." And I'm like, "No, you're not."
We are not from Alabama or Arkansas or wherever they do that.
Close, but not quite. Yeah.
Exactly. Dad, he's from Louisiana. But, Dad even always joked. He said, get on our family tree. It's just one branch. It goes straight up.
That's right.
Awkward.
Bad.
Well, anyway, last week we talked about Char's story to how she came to be where she is in this sort of like beyond monogamous lifestyle. And today we're going to just quickly cover my much less entertaining and exciting story about how I came to be in this beyond monogamous headspace. You wrote some good questions that, me being ADD brain, this is going to be like buckshot. So feel free to just jump in from time to time and,
Sweet.
ask leading questions. Because, I fractal think.
Yeah.
So no linear lines in this brain. And for those of you who can see, it's a part of my experience, those of you who are watching, rather, I like to make erotic art as well. So both of us being, we had such a dichotomous upbringing between the atheist mom and the Baptist preacher dad. Mm-hmm. Oh, who's she? She saw it.
Yeah, God. Totally bangable.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. She
Awkward
looks like my
stuff.
sister.
I know, that's me. But yeah, so it was like a kind of a dichotomous upbringing where it's Dad is a Baptist preacher. I totally see. I got squirreled again as soon as one thing
you saw
distracts
a shiny
me.
thing.
Shiny, squirrel. Yeah. So anyway, so a part of the my experience of myself, my psyche is. It's really hard to offend me, and I really find that there are no cuss words that offend me. It's really intentions, cunt, pussy, dick, asshole, all of that, those are all, to me, those are wonderful things. You know, I derive a lot of pleasure from all of those things. And so really just the intention and of how someone's using words that can sometimes offend me in some way. But so I kind of feel like a part of like my artistic persuasion is liberating things from these Victorian shame ethics, you know, of like, you know, oh, your genitals are bad, don't touch them. And, you know, to be good is to deny your sexuality. And, you know, even like poop. I mean, poop gets a really bad rap, you know, because it's like, you know, it's a part of our existence. And to make any part of our natural human existence shameful or bad or suppressed or denied is really unhealthy. So that's one of the reasons I like to make art that kind of liberates that. And actually these etchings that I made, I just started using those little wax, you know, papers that little kids use where you scratch away the wax and there's like rainbow color underneath. I just felt like playing around and having fun, and then I started like looking at basically pornography and and making these etchings. Come look at my etchings. And so these ones are the least pornographic. I did some full-on like, you know, yonis and fruit bowls and made some erotic boylesque looking stuff for one of my sweet gay boyfriends. And then, you know, over here, I didn't organize them or organize them, but I love to make what I call pussy magnets too, which are like these little sculpted dudes. This one's my sass crotch. So they're all made of pussies and dicks, essentially. This is Rudolph. You know, he's a big dick.
He looks like Rudong.
Rudong, the big dick reindeer. And this one's I call a slutterfly. It's like a pussy with butterfly wings.
Aww.
And then I've also got these what I call drag weens, or my happy little inches. They're like little, what is it? It's kind of intersexual, right? It's like a dick with nipples on its balls. So those are kind of like boob balls. What would that be?
Boob.
Babs? I don't know. Anyway, there's that guy, and then here's little Saint Dick. He's a dick with a Christmas hat.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, and this is Saint Dickless. This is a twat-faced Santa. These are my ornaments.
Yeah.
I sell the, and then this is her. She's spotting, so that's her.
That's her
coagulated blood bubble down there. I don't know what
That's
that
like
is.
when you cough really hard and the tampon comes out because it's so full.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh yeah, and
like,
this is
that's
actually
never
my
happened.
favorite. This little guy, Frosty the Blowman. He's so tiny.
He's
and cute,
adorable.
with his big erect carrot nose.
I'm always amazed by the level of detail that you get in these things. And I think, you know,
so
you were talking
OCD.
about having ADHD earlier, but I also know that that has a flip side of when you get into something that you're really enjoying. You will just get immersed. Like
obsessed.
I've seen you go to town on things where I'm like, really? You're gonna draw in every single pube on that Santa Claus?
Yeah, totally. Well, they call that the laser beam focus. And on this Frosty the Blowman, like for instance, his little cigarette sticking out of his mouth is made from like a chopped off little Q-tip that I dipped in the end in glitter. Yeah, I go into obsessive detail. It's insane. Oh, and this is my porn star of wonder.
I have at least half of these.
Yeah, and these
for real.
These tiny little. So I made the Commander in Queef, which is like Trump, twat face Trump, and these comb overs, even on this little turd that's like looks like Trump, and it says "Flush that turd November 3rd." These were promos for the voting era, but. This comb over, the fastest I could get one done in is like 15 minutes. So
oh my God.
You know what? And this one was like 45 minutes.
Oh geez.
But it's fucking epic.
It's a labor of love.
A labor of love.
Although I have to say, that twat is far too pretty to be Trump's face.
Right?
Like,
you just can't make it ugly or stinky enough.
You can't make it ugly or stinky enough to be his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite frankly.
Ugh.
No.
Yep, I even rubbed it on my bunghole. Like, it's just not gross enough to be him. God.
You're going to make it sicker.
Yeah. Yeah, so
those are beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe I'll put one of these out here. One of my whatever.
Put some more
my
fun.
drag weens.
Yep,
Yeah,
that'll be a good
ween.
spot for drag ween.
Yeah,
that'll
you can put one on
totally
your
show.
side too.
All right. I'll put it in a
little
space
inch.
that's exposed.
Yes. Yes, expose yourself.
Oh.
So yeah,
she's peeking
that's
through.
part of my one of the ways I express myself artistically that I find interesting is to kind of, there's so much again, shame, denial, repression about human sexuality and everything, and so I like to think that I'm shining a light into these shadows and bringing some liberation to these things, and just lighten up, everybody. Even when I put these on Facebook and sold them in the Facebook marketplace till I got flagged and taken
Oh my
down.
God! I just don't even get how that's obscene. I mean, they're just body parts.
I know, and look at this guy. Put this guy out there. That little, he's like my Frosty the Blowman.
I'll put him up front here. I'm going to give him front and center.
He's a dick
next to Dragon.
He's a pimp kind of. He's the pimp Blowman.
He's just looking good.
He's looking good.
Yeah.
He got a grill.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my artistic expression. But then clearly I have a trucker's mouth. I talk like a trucker. And for me, it's just, again, there's nothing offensive about language except for your intention behind it.
Right, exactly. Because if I walk up to you and I'm like, "What's up, little cunt?" and you're like, "Well, hey, Virginer."
Yeah, hey, whore.
Yeah, exactly. That's a totally different intention than someone, say, at Washington Square Mall saying, "Fucking bitches," which actually happened to me once, and I chewed them out in front of everyone. Awesome moment. Boom.
Snap.
Because my daughters were there, so I had to show them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's something that I've seen, throughout your life. You've always been the one who's like, "Oh, so the rule is we're not supposed to say that word."
Don't say what?
Don't say what?
Yeah.
Let's just dance around the borders there. Let's dance around those boundaries and
why
see
not?
how firm those boundaries are. And I remember specifically, there was that Safeway near Mom and Dale's house where you and I would go frequently, and we'd have TCBY frozen yogurt, and then we'd go to Safeway afterwards, and you'd be like, the next aisle over, "Hey, Virginer!"
Yeah.
And you'd ask me a question, I'd be like, and part of me would be kind of, butthole clenching, cringing. And the other part of me would be like, "Yeah, you know what? People need to loosen up. It's a body part,
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, and we, by the way, we intentionally said it incorrectly because it was funny.
Yeah. Because my first boyfriend that I lost my virginity to, he gave me the beautiful gift of chlamydia and warts. Right. First time having sex. Wow. What a great divergenizing story. But yeah, then when we were talking about the girl that gave that to him, who he'd been sleeping with on the side, he said he pronounced it Virginer, and we thought that was hysterical.
Oh, God. We couldn't stop laughing about that.
Virginer!
Well, Virginer, how's it going today, Virginer? I've heard another really good pronunciation, which is a bajoiner. Bajoiner is really
does
cute.
join
But that
things.
one came from a 4-year-old, not a
Gotcha.
18 or 19-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I also remember, I thought you were going to tell the Safeway story of, when I was riding my bike and I found that big dildo on the side of the road. And, the boyfriend I had at the time was like, "Oh, my God, Teresa, what are you doing? Stop, don't touch that." And I was like, "I have to." So I grab this dildo from the side of the road and I strap it to the back of my bike. And so it's just wiggling as I ride home.
Is this-
boing, boing, boing.
Wait, is this the same one that you were like, "Hey, that piece of shit looks like a penis"?
Yeah, that piece of shit looks like a penis because it was all dirty, so it looked like a piece of shit. So I was like, that piece of shit looks like a dick. And yeah, my boyfriend was like, "Please, God, no, don't touch it." But I took it home and then I boiled it just to sanitize it.
Yeah.
And then remember we tried to stick it on that mannequin in our living room.
Yes.
And then I started wearing it out of the I got so distracted.
The front of a skirt, right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting sign language. Just say it out loud. What do you... There's a question. Oh, there's a question.
Where
I
can
don't
one
see
buy
it.
these? Oh, on Face. Well, where can people buy your artwork, Teresa, or your or your ornaments? Or
I have an Etsy store. Thanks for being interested. Gosh. I actually uploaded the pictures of these to my computer, and I have yet to put them in my Etsy store. and the ornaments as well. I have an Etsy store, and I think that it's called The Body Bod.
So BAWDY, BAWD.
Well,
Body Bod.
reverse. BAWD and then BAWDY. The Body Bod.
No,
Like,
you just said
oh,
bod
shit,
body.
you're right. I'm dyslexic too. Look at that. Okay, so yeah, it's the opposite. The Body Bod.
The body bod.
Yeah. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, how exciting and fun.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I thought it was funny to put the dildo sticking out of the front of my skirt and walking around the house like that. And then you, me, and my old best friend Lila, we decided to go to Safeway like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We went dancing with you like that.
Really?
Yeah,
You
I
must have been
totally
a
remember
blackout
it.
drunk. I don't even remember that. Jesus Christ.
Yes, I remember dancing with you like that and going to Safeway, and it was really awesome. I was like, again, it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, we might be pushing someone's limits, but let's see
Well,
what
we
happens.
did. Remember there was the guy with the flat top that started chasing us around the store because he was enraged by the feelings it brought up in him. Eroticism and desire, probably.
Oh,
suppressing all
who
that.
knows, yeah.
Which brings us back to this,
Oh, yeah.
actually,
Your story.
Yeah, I'm calling it my her story. And so you came
Yes.
up with some points or questions, and one of them was, my dating history. And I really don't have a lot of dating history because I'm such a serial monogamist.
Yes.
You know?
Can I bring something up?
Yes, please.
I remember, not in the not too distant past, you said, Shar, I want to be a slut. I want to taste the 31 flavors of life. And I think after making that proclamation, you made it through about 3 flavors.
Yeah.
And then you were in another monogamous relationship, and I was like,
Damn it.
ah,
I know.
come on, dude.
I know.
You get it?
I know. Well, I think it's, I'm just, again, a psychology junkie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested in, well, just everything. But one of the things that I think really relates to dating and love and sex is attachment styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, despite our parents' best efforts, I'm just an anxious person. And so I think that, whereas you've always been super extroverted, I've always been really anxious. And so I don't put myself out there, like you do. I don't pull my tits out in bars and shit like that. So
Try it. You might like it.
you might like it. Yeah, exactly.
No, not any bar.
Yeah, exactly. Shar, I got arrested. Thanks. Great fucking advice.
That's because you were at the Applebee's bar, or the Outback Steakhouse
Yeah,
bar.
right. Exactly. So I ended up, and still, even though I came out, proclaiming to be like poly, embracing a non-monogamous lifestyle, because what I noticed is that, like, despite, what I feel like is like the lie or the fairy tale that we're brainwashed to believe about monogamy and how we're all, I think, we get wounded just by being born into this wounded collective consciousness, and we feel incomplete. There's that illusion of separateness. So we're constantly looking for a sense of wholeness by, we're taught to be and conditioned to be extrinsically motivated. So we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for, affirmation, confirmation of being complete. And so, this story, this fairy tale of like finding your soulmate, the person that's going to complete you, and then you live happily ever after. That's just a fairy tale, That's a fairy tale that came from the plague. Esther Perel's book, Mating in Captivity. I think everyone should read or listen to it. It is epic, and that's one of the things that she talked about that I don't think a lot of people realize is that fairy tale was created during the time of the plague because people were dying everywhere, young and old. So the parents started telling the children this story. There's my dog. About like, there's this knight in shining armor and he saves this fair maiden, and it's a real sexist, like, oh, she's hopeless and helpless story. And then he saves her, and that's a role that I think is really messed up for men, is having to be responsible for saving people, and then they live happily ever after. And, it's just bullshit. And that story is unfortunately poisoning the minds and creating expectations for people that were never real.
Yeah.
So.
I have to chime in. I think that you're the idea that I mean, I think that book is definitely worth reading, even if you read it and afterwards you're like, yeah, I can see where I've been conditioned to desire a certain thing, but I still want it and it still makes sense, and I have the most amazing partner in the world, and monogamy is still your preferred relationship style. I think that's still something worth doing, like just kind of questioning the rules that everyone was taught to live by, and making a conscious decision. Yes, I will. Yes, this rule applies to me, or no, it does not apply to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that's all. Like, I think it doesn't, like, the same relationship style doesn't work for every person, and
Right.
so the theory might be completely sound, and yet I look at certain people like our mom who's like in a great relationship, and I'm like, they would never, their relationship is wonderfully monogamous, and I look at that and go, yeah, it's super healthy and wonderful. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one thing that I wanted to like make clear, is that I'm not anti-monogamy, but I definitely think that by and large, there's an interesting. Oops! Oh, my computer's gonna die. Oh no!
you can keep talking, I'll plug it in.
Thanks, lady. But yeah, it's a conundrum. There's a dichotomous paradox going on with the relationship structure of monogamy, because it's just human nature. Like, we're not just like naturally monogamous, by nature. Like, it's a practice. It's an ideal that we practice. And unfortunately, the truth is that it's over here.
Okay.
I'll plug it in. Unfortunately, like, despite how much we want to protect each other's ego and fear of abandonment by, in these monogamous relationships, one of the lies I feel like a lot of people engage with is like, pretending that their sexuality is dead to everybody else in the world. Like, I'm never going to want to fuck anyone else for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And, even if someone can condition themselves to not have attractions for connections with other people, I actually don't think that that's healthy. And on top of that, I feel like it's that monogamous structure that we're, buying into that can sometimes be the catalyst to create infidelity. Because if you are not allowed to have these natural feelings, and you're not allowed to, talk about them, because that's one of the unspoken agreements that we go into when we do monogamous relationship, is like, I'm going to protect you from your fear of abandonment, and I'm going to protect your ego. You're all that I see, and
Yes.
you're the most. You are the most important. You're
Yeah.
the sexiest, prettiest, specialist, deepest, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that if we could get to a place where we could be more open-minded and honest about the human condition, we could actually preserve these relationships, and possibly even, if we figure out a different way to not be so exclusive, like honor all the natural feelings and develop the communication skills to where we can actually talk about it, so that these natural feelings that so many people are trying to repress don't have to slip out the side door and do something that ends up being destructive to the relationship, the respect, the love that's there to get their needs met.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. It's like saying, okay, I'm going on a diet, and not only can I not eat cake again, but I can't even think about cake or anything. It's just like that you're going to have this natural reaction of wanting to think about something, or wanting to explore something else. Or, like, the way that I like to think of it is like there's fantasy and there's reality. So when you see a hot person walk down the street, and let's say you're in a monogamous relationship, you see a hot person walk down the street, you immediately start telling yourself a story about who they are. You're like, oh, I bet they're so giving and have the most amazing pussy, and the longest legs, and da-da-da-da. And you're going on in your mind. And in reality, they might be like, don't touch me. I think you're a horrible person or whatever, but you're having a fantasy about them. And that's okay to have that fantasy, but you need to realize there's fantasy and reality, and that, like, there's, that there's no threat really in just kind of admiring. It's kind of like you see a beautiful horse. You're like, lovely horse, beautiful horse. That doesn't mean I'm going to actually start making moves to go talk to the horse or like, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you brought up what that made me think of too. I'm going to grab my little doggy. This is Jazzy. But you reminded me of another thing that I think is important for humans to begin to start to create more awareness around, and that's the erotic imagination. Because like when you talked about the person that you see on the street, what's coming up inside of you too isn't just like, aesthetic objectification. It's more like you're really thinking about how. What's up?
This is so derpy.
Yeah, she is a derpy dog. But yeah, you're thinking about how they're going to make you feel. Like,
yes.
You can look at their physical attributes and find them attractive, but really what our imaginations are doing is we're playing with ourselves, thinking like, oh, and I'd feel like this and that would happen. We'd have this connection. They'd make me feel like. Should I put her down? It's too distracting. She's a weird-looking little dog, missing a lot of teeth.
She's like obsessively licking. She's like a dirty little old man.
She is. She's like, I love this conversation. Go on, mommy. Well, my titties.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Okay. So, well, anyway, it's like it's our imaginations that are so incredibly fulfilling for us. And something that, we, that's one of the things that can even keep relationships alive. And that's, I'll put her down. Here, you hold her. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God. So, anyways, where were we? Erotic imagination. I think I was just talking about the necessity of like how to, if people want to do monogamy, then I think a more realistic attitude about sexual exclusivity is important to begin to have that conversation.
Yeah, to not say, do you find her attractive? That's bad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't find anyone else attractive. It's like, well, gosh, I'm not dead. I still have an imagination. I still have a mind. Like, it's okay.
Oh, we have a question. Isn't that the main reason why people cheat? Seeking unknown, freedom, something new, forbidden by society. Yeah, I think
probably.
I think it really is. So the question was, or it's more of a comment, isn't that the main reason why people cheat? Seeking unknown, freedom, something new, forbidden by society. And I think that, like, unfortunately in the monogamous structure itself becomes the oppressive institution to make people start to feel disconnected. And that's one of the things that makes us feel happiest and healthiest and most alive is connection with yourself, connection with other people, and being connected to other people that, when you're both connected to yourselves. I mean, that's the most blissful, erotic thing. And so, unfortunately, like, again, the monogamous structure will oftentimes cause people to, it's like one of the things I thought Esther Perel said that was really great is she said, like, desire, we tend to choose relationships and partners these days for, entirely new reasons than in the olden days. In the olden days, it was like, well, we have to breed slaves to keep the farm going, or religion, and have children in the likeness of God, and that's what sex is about. But now it's like we choose partners based on the desire for, like, having a constant confidant, a domestic partner, and we're trying to put too many needs on this one person. You got to be my best friend. Sometimes people go into businesses together, and I want it to be romantic. I want to have sustained passion with you for the rest of our lives. Yeah. But we need distance from each other to have passion and desire. You can't want something that's right here in your face all the time because you have it, so you can't desire it. Yep. So we need that space. And so, and getting back to this comment, something that I think is very relative to it is that the basis of addiction is something that's called intermittent reinforcement. So they did this test with these monkeys where they, had them in a cage and, in a room, and they, had like little, whatever they're called, the electrodes that they sense their brain waves and everything, and their, blood pressure and all that. So they had them in a room, and they would flick the lights, and they would have these monkeys perform a task, and then they would give them treats. And then after a while, what they did is they would flick the lights, the monkeys would do the task, and they wouldn't give them a treat. And what they saw was that it completely skyrocketed their dopamine levels because, what we're most addicted to in life is actually the anticipation of the treat. So that's what happens sometimes in relationship that I think even causes affairs, is that we love this, erotic imagination. We titillate ourselves with our thoughts and our desires, our desire to have a muse, have, that exciting connection. And so, that's one of the reasons I think we go outside of the relationship a lot, is because we're jonesing for that delicious desire and that anticipation, and to play in that space, where you don't have something, it's so exciting.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I've heard it called the ache, the urge, but it's the anticipation or the pregnant pause or all of those things. They're like and when you can mindfully get into that space and linger there as long as possible, it can be delicious. But that's definitely a big thing for us.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the things I was going to say, too. I love your attention to detail, Michael. Like, no, this needs to go that way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I see.
It's casting quite a reflection. Yeah.
But
so,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you have.
Well, I was going to ask, how do you feel? So, like, I know that you have the theory kind of moving around in your head. So how do you feel like that's affected your, relationships, because you called yourself a serial monogamist? And so where do you think that point is at which things sort of shift, like where you sort of go like, okay, my intention is to be polyamorous or whatever.
Beyond monogamous.
Yeah, but beyond monogamous in some way. But then is it like the habit of... Or do you think it's like that kind of, because there is this
like why
phenomenon that happens, it's new relationship energy too.
Right.
And that's the excitement of a new relationship where you're like, you just want to spend every waking moment with someone. So do you think that that's the point where you kind of get hooked in or linked in, where it's like you go, oh, oops, I fell into monogamy again.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think that it's a combination of things. I think on the one hand, it's, me being a really highly sensitive, kind of anxious attachment style. So one of the things I was realizing as to why I've never been, even though it was like 4 years ago I came out and I was like, all right, fuck that goddamn monogamy fairy tale shit. I'm not doing it anymore. I keep ending up in the same place. So then I thought, yay, thank you. Someone said, great point about addiction and affairs.
Hey!
What in the butt? So then I think that it's I don't, because I'm so sensitive, I just have not really put myself out there in the world a lot. And, if you're going to be like a successful polyamorous person, well, then you have to see more than one person, But so that's part of it. And then I think the other part of it, too, is that I'm so, I've got issues. I'm sure I'm probably like a codependent caretaker. But I tend to also, when I love someone, I care so much about their feelings. And one of the mistakes I made in the last 4 years when I dated like 2 people for like, a year on one and a year and a half at the other, is that, even though I came out being transparent, saying like, hey, I don't want to do that like monogamy thing anymore. I'm just not there in my life right now. Both of them said like, oh, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But the truth is that's not how they operated, and they didn't hold those ethics and values. So it ended up biting me in the ass because, the truth is that was still their comfort zone and their default. So once I'm with someone and I love them, then I noticed like I did not want to, go out. And also I was just so busy, you know, being in like 3 bands, running my own massage business, and, you know, doing group ukulele teaching and all that kind of stuff. So fucking busy that I didn't even have time. So I keep just, you know, slipping in pussy first into monogamous relationship after monogamous relationship.
Like a snail.
Like a snail with a big slimy trail behind me, a broken heart. But, you know, I'm finally like having the biggest, like, you know, come to Jeebus with myself. Like, all right, no.
Maybe
now,
you should come with Jeebus this time instead.
Come all over him. Yeah, see? But yeah, I think this time that's one of the reasons I'm even spending, I'm not on any like dating apps or doing anything like that, because I just really feel like, you know, I want to get straight with myself, because I think that's also another one of the slippery slopes and pitfalls that I fall into with serial monogamy, is that, you know, again, we're kind of brainwashed to be born into this collective consciousness that, you know, implants a seed of shame in us and tells us, you know, you're not, there's the potential that you could be abandoned because you're not good enough, you're not lovable enough. And so we're constantly looking outside of ourselves for a sense of well-being. And I've been guilty of that in the past. And so now I'm really trying to take this time and space that I have in my life and cultivate that within myself. And it's helpful to not have those distractions, because I do tend to caretake, you know, and love and connect with people very deeply and want to help heal them and help their lives. And I need to just step away from the crack pipe right now and, you know,
right.
get my shit straight.
Well, and I think when you've been brought up as someone who's really empathetic and who, you know, I think women in general are brought up to be nice. And to take care and, you know, take care of other people and stuff like that. And so I think it's really exhausting and hard to draw boundaries over and over and over. And by the 20th or 30th time, you're like, really, you're still not hearing me here with this boundary. And so I think we're taught to speak with a very quiet voice, and some people simply aren't capable of hearing that. Right. And that just becomes something where someone can almost wait you out. And I think that's what's happened in some of your past relationships, where, you know, you might try to draw boundaries and it gets a little better for a while. And then it goes downhill, but so slowly that you kind of feel like, oh, is it worth making a fuss? Is it really worth bumming them out or whatever, you know, because I'm having such a good time right now.
Yeah, like disrupting your rapport in the present moment.
Right.
So it is easy to just little moment by moment deny yourself because you don't want to, you know, make the other person uncomfortable or disrupt the rapport, you know, but I definitely am very aware that the most important thing to me right now, and why I'm just stepping away from doing intimate relationship, is that I want more than anything to have individuation. I want to be good at setting those boundaries.
Yeah.
And, you know, just kind of letting it be what it is. If that's the most important relationship to me right now is myself, it's very unconventional, but like I don't even identify with any particular way of being, and I don't want to, because I don't want to put myself in a box, you know, like even the solo poly thing. I don't know that I can identify as that. Some people might identify me as that, but when we were talking one day about where I fit into it, and you brought up relationship anarchy, that was something that, you know, more than anything, I kind of identified with that, you know, because I feel like I just want to do whatever and whoever I want when I want to.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like if I say today I'm solo poly or whatever, but if tomorrow, like, I meet someone and I'm like, you know, I want to get fucking married, or tomorrow I wake up and I'm like, I want to be a fucking lesbian nun and move to Barbados, and, you know, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
You get the point.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I just want to be authentic now on this journey, like especially being the ripe old age that I am. I kind of look at the rest of my life and I just think like, you know, life is so precious. It is such a magical miracle that we're even here, that we're even alive. And there is so much illusion and delusion that humans have created in our collective consciousness that we've been brainwashed with. And the more I see it, the more I want to do whatever I can to, you know, disassociate from it, to see it for what it is, and to begin to consciously choose a different way of living where it is truly as authentic as I can be. I want to be able to be free and be honest with every person that comes into my life and in every moment.
Yeah.
So it kind of, you know, makes me like, now, what's the opposite of a unicorn? You know, a unicorn is like the thing everyone wants to ride. It makes them feel better, and I'm the opposite.
Platypus.
You know? Yeah, platypus. Yeah.
Let's just say you're a platypus.
Polyplatypus. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's my new, like, spirit animal.
They're like, no, wait, what the fuck is that thing? It's amazing and I love it, but I don't know if I want to ride it.
Yeah, exactly. That duckbill. Oh. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm the polyplatypus. Like, I'm not promising anyone any comfort, not even myself, you know? It's like, I'm not going to save you from your fears, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it's great.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, bringing up relationship anarchy, I have a few friends who practice that style.
Oh, yeah. Break it down, too, because I don't know really what it really means. I got a fair idea because you said you thought I was, but...
Yeah. I think, well, there's a dictionary definition for it, but I'm not going to look it up right now. But the way that it looks, you look it up.
Okay.
The way that it works in practice is that you essentially have agreements with your partners, and they're all different, and they're all based on meeting people's needs. And it isn't like, oh, you're my primary and therefore you get this prioritization over everyone else, and you're secondary, therefore if my primary needs me, I'm going to ditch you on the side of the road, or, you know, anything like that. It is like, it sort of takes those even more traditional kind of polyamorous ideas and sort of pulls them apart even further and says each relationship gets really dealt with on this agreements and boundaries sort of level. So let's see what
I brought up someone's definition.
Relationship draws its tenets from political anarchy. Okay. I mean, and the thing I don't like about the name is that it sort of acts like, it sort of sounds like something that's destructive. And I really think of the way that I've seen it used can be incredibly constructive. Yeah. It can be really wonderfully and beautifully put into action when people are saying, you know, when people can be really conscientious about what they need and what they need from their, you know, what they need from their partners and also what their partners need from them, and saying, hey, is this a good fit? Is this not a good fit? And I think the things that make it difficult sometimes is that if you have someone who's a relationship anarchist and say they're dating someone who's in a more structured relationship, say they have a nesting partner, the relationship anarchist may not necessarily agree with the rules of that, you know, partner that they have and the partner and the kind of the nesting partner agreements that they have. However, they can still accept and abide by those rules, but they would not necessarily apply them to anyone else. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I think that something I feel into that too is it's sort of like, you know, I don't have any pre-existing structure or expectation other than I want pure, you know, honesty and communication and co-creation. Like co-creation as to, you know, when you just show up in the present moment and you feel what, you know, you want, you feel what feels right for you. You know, that's that's, I guess, and I agree with you that anarchy has like a bad name to it, and I wouldn't want to come out saying like I'm a relationship anarchist, on a dating, bio or something, because that does kind of like create this image in people's heads that I'm going to spray an anarchy symbol on their foreheads and kick them in the nuts
and be like, punk rock motherfuckers, and run away.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. Yeah. So.
How about relationship co-creationist? I don't know.
Oh,
is that?
That's good.
Hey.
That's got a ring to it. I like it.
All right, let's go with it.
Yeah, let's go with it.
It's your style.
Yeah, it's my
co-creation.
style. It's my style.
I love that, and I think that's super honest and really good, and like, it makes space for everyone to be themselves, and most importantly, for you to be yourself and to be really, sure about why you're doing things, what you're doing, what makes you happy, what feels good. Yeah. And I think when you talk about, and I know this about you, when you talk about does this feel good at this moment and stuff like that, you're not talking about impulsively. You're not like, someone's talking to you and they want to have a serious conversation and you're like, I'm out of here. This isn't fun. Like,
I do what I want. Yeah.
I know that's not what you're talking about. So
I'm not advocating for narcissism.
Right.
Complete
exactly.
sociopathic self-absorption.
Exactly. Just in case anyone, doesn't know you as well as I know you, which, come on, I'm your sister.
I know.
Yeah,
I know you were there when I was born.
Yeah, Jesus. I was somewhere.
Yeah, and so this relationship anarchy thing, I think, when I was younger, why I did the serial monogamy thing was that, I had anxiousness and a fear of abandonment, but then after being in so many relationships where I feel like it severed the ties to myself, like I was having to, compromise elements of my being that made me feel like I was doing what I call committing soulicide. Your soul is dying. You're dying in the relationship, and you end up feeling more alone in a relationship or severed, fissured, compromised in the relationship than you would by yourself. And so now my bigger fear isn't abandonment. It's like I want to face all those fears and that conditioning, but it's actually now it's losing myself. I don't want to lose myself in, that dance with especially people that are less aware and in touch with, how they really want to do relationship with intention. That's, I feel like what I'm open to next in life is like, doing relationship with people that are very in touch with this. And, and to me, that actually gives me a sense of safety, because sometimes it's the words we don't say that come between us.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Like, and you end up accidentally repeating the same relationship that you have in the past that's toxic to you like I have it. So it's like, communication is the key. It's the backbone.
That's you just kind of brought up something about the repetition of relationships, and I had a therapist who is the same amazing therapist who sent me to SPP. He said something about we're conditioned to like when a baby zebra is born, they immediately look at the stripe pattern on their mother, and that's something that they look for if they get separated from their mother. And if they do, they will look for the nearest pattern if their mother has somehow disappeared. And I think that, and his point was that that's something that humans do as well. There are relationship patterns that are started very young, and you look for those relationship patterns over and over, and that's naturally what you're going to do unless you consciously try to push yourself out of that mode.
Right.
And I have to say that's something that I've done recently, and it's been incredible. I've been like, wow, this crazy zebra with the sideways stripes, this is amazing, So, but that's definitely something where you can continually have the same situation repeat itself and not realize that it's happening because, this person does this one thing that's slightly different, and it's just different enough to where you're like, it's similar but not exactly.
Right.
And then you wake up from a dream and you're like, where have the last 2 years gone?
Yeah, I'm doing it again. Here I am again.
No.
Damn it. Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, you just wake up and you realize, like, I'm hitting my head on the same brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to get to that point where you realize that. And again, you put down the crack pipe, you back away quickly.
Step away from the crack pipe.
Yeah,
Teresa.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or, the dick pipe or whatever. And you just, commit to changing your ways, bearing witness to your own, suffering and withdrawal and all of that.
Yeah.
And figuring out another way and really committing to it, which brings me to another idea.
Yeah.
Which is something we talked about that I think would be interesting is like, what I'm aware of is if you, it's like, I think someone said that the founder of AA once said, like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So I feel like something I need to do is actually get beyond my comfort zone. Sorry, this seltzer's making me belch. But
sexy.
So what I'm kind of facing in myself that I feel like I need to do is to actively, intentionally get beyond my comfort zone. So for those listening, Shar and I talked about her actually like taking me out to these places, where there are people that are, intentionally living a beyond monogamous lifestyle and educate myself and expose myself, not literally. We all know I'm body shy and dysmorphic. So
yes, because you have so much you should hide.
You're
hideous.
I am a hideous freak. But yeah, so that's going to be a part of the journey, which I look forward to, and it does make my butt munch my thong a little bit. Like, ooh, that sounds
for
scary.
sure.
Oh, good.
I think when your butt's munching your thong, it's probably a good thing half the time at least.
Yeah.
Unless it's like someone just doing shitty driving or something like that. Then
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
probably not good.
When your butt's munching your thong, you feel alive.
Yes.
And, we have a habit as humans to want to stay in our comfort zone, but that's not necessarily, healthy or where you feel most alive and fulfilled and engaged. So I'm willing to do some more thong munching and, take on some experiments.
Yeah, we should definitely, I think we should do at least one show where we take you to one of those clubs or something.
I walked into one with a friend once, a very sensitive artist, painter friend of mine. And, already, like, we didn't even get past the door. I think, which one is it that's like, is it Sanctuary?
The one that's upstairs, that's
yeah.
Sanctuary.
Okay,
yeah.
So we walked in there. I was just curious about it. So I bring my friend in, and the lady at the door, it was really expensive to get in. I don't remember how much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we were
usually
just
not.
wanting to, like, go in and, like, I swear to God, it was like $45 or something. I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Maybe it was
that
a big
for
night.
both of us. Yeah.
Who knows?
But anyway, like, we walked in, and, first we got sticker shock. And then I looked into the bar that's just right there, and it was something out of, like, it looked like it was out of a fucking David Lynch movie or something. It was such a weird scene. There was this slightly elderly-looking gentleman he had his hands tied up above his head, and he was wearing assless chaps. I mean, they're all assless. That's redundant. But,
yeah, I think so.
Leather chaps. And he's just kind of, like, looking a little bit, like, lackluster. And there's this woman who's got this cat of nine tails, and she's just so lackluster, just swatting his ass, like, swat. No enthusiasm, anything. And, me and my friend were looking at this, and, like, I was fascinated. I did want to see more of whatever the fuck that was going on, and what was beyond what I could see. But yeah, ultimately, I think that we were sort of like, the same sides of a magnet, me and my sensitive friend. I got to go with you.
Yeah, you have to go with a true extrovert who's going to be like, let's start some trouble. Let's go do
pull
some
our tits
things.
out.
Yeah.
Wiggle them all
Look,
around.
I've got a tie right here.
I know, see?
Yeah.
I knew you loved that dress. Knew it.
You are so right.
And the last dress I got you for your birthday, I was like, she could just boing and, pull your tits out.
That was the amazing gold dress that I was wearing in the last episode.
Yeah.
I received that birthday present the day we filmed.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Right before we went on.
Yes. Yeah. I have to say, I went to the Sanctuary Club like last week, and they had the most incredible queer-friendly gay dance party. My words are not working. Sorry, I spent hours on the phone with AAA today because my daughter was stranded on the side of the road. Yep, I'm brain fried. Sorry, everybody.
Ain't no thing. Nobody cares. Yeah, so I'm kind of rolling back through, making sure I got all your questions.
Okay, do you want to do a weird segment really quick before we go?
Let's do a weird segment.
I have something really funny. It's called Guess That Lube Flavor.
Guess that lube flavor. Blah, 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 blah. Are you going to put it on crackers? Are you going to put it on our crackers?
You're keto, aren't you? Because
On
these
cracks?
are sugar-free. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I don't do sugar.
all right. Stick your finger out. I'm going to put some lube on your finger.
This reminds me of when we were kids, you know, with the baby alive baby food that we were constantly shoving up our doll's ass.
Totally.
Whoa. That is some hardcore Flavor Flav.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that would definitely cover smegma. If, smegma
So
happens.
imagine smegma plus whatever this flavor is. Is
Smegma
it
plus.
delicious?
It tastes good. It's very candy-rific. Like, it tastes like, I would say, if I had to guess, cotton candy.
Oh, it is Joe, H2O, Tropical Passion. And I think Joe stands for jack off.
Oh,
Which,
my.
if you just, yeah, here we go. This is
Why
this
would
is
you
what it is.
jack off with flavored lube?
I don't
though?
think
What a
you
waste.
would.
That's
I
why
think
God
that's
made
just-
coconut oil.
Yeah, that
You
is
know?
true.
Come on.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Wait, actually, let me just swish this out of my mouth.
Yeah, you got to cleanse the palate. Here's another flavor.
Okay. Okay, now that one tastes like cotton candy. Now that I have the other one. Why does everything taste like cotton candy?
Because you've been keto for too long.
Right.
Everything
I'm
that's
like,
sweet
oh my
tastes like
God.
cotton
Boom.
candy.
My brain's exploding.
So this one was vanilla cream,
Okay.
which I think is actually pretty pleasant.
Yeah, it is.
It's not bad.
They're
at all.
both very pleasant.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Not too
We don't
shabby.
have. I just thought those would be funny to see you taste. Lube.
Yeah.
So world,
yummy.
guess what I did? I made my little sister eat lube today.
Wouldn't be the first time or the worst thing.
No, it's
I made
true.
you eat shampoo once.
I
and that
remember
was
that.
awesome.
You devil child.
Yeah, so yeah, I actually wrote the shit out of a bunch of shit earlier, but I don't want to bore everyone with my, just novella that I wrote here.
Yeah. So if perfect human were to walk up to you right now and say,
Doesn't exist. Wouldn't happen. Sorry.
let's say
Yeah.
the most imperfectly perfect human.
Okay.
Were to walk up to you right now and say, Bod, I want to date you. Your mind is an amazing thing. And even if you had, I don't know, just suffered a horrible accident and your ass was where your head should be, I would want to date you. What
Yeah.
would you do?
Well, that is a really awesome approach. I would respond very well to that. Yeah, specifically that. I would be like, we are fucking kin because we're kin, so to talk to me like that.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have to do the cranial rectal inversion thing for you to really like that.
Yeah, I know. Schifferbrains. Yeah, I like that. And that is something that I'm kind of like, wanting in my life now is just like rather than, the fairy tale and I'm sure at this point, like, I won't ever get married. I've never, pretty sure. I'll do what I want when I want to, but I've never wanted to get married. Never wanted to have kids. I want someone to be able to leave me if they want to leave. We just grow and we change. And I like the idea of someone, being free with me. And I also like the idea of being brave and facing, the fear of abandonment and everything. So now anymore, the thing that's most important to me is just enjoying every moment of my life for the rest of my life. And people that add to that, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm open to.
Yeah.
And if there's,
awesome.
there's just not enough time left in life to be, arguing and disagreeing. I want to be able to disagree with everyone and anyone, and and still have peace and love in my
absolutely.
heart and in our relationship. So anyway, I guess
I love that.
That's me in a nutsack.
I love that nutsack. It's just the perfect amount of hairy and fleshy.
Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, so it looks like we're wrapping up. So we would like to remind everyone that the opinions expressed in this show are solely the opinions of
these douchebags.
These two douchebags with these amazing tits. Okay? And if you would like to send us any questions when we're not online, it would be wasthatAnorgy@gmail.com. And you can find us at talkcastpdx.com. And next week, we're going to have my good friend here talking about mindfulness and slow sex. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds great. Well, yeah, we are Charlene and Teresa Bod, and we'll see all you bitches next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. You're a see you next Tuesday. I'm not
You're
a
a
see you
cunt.
next
I'm
Tuesday.
not a cunt. You're the cunt. You're a big
You're the
cunt.
cunt.
No, you're the
Cunt,
big
cunt,
cunt.
hairy cunt,
Cunt.
hairy cunt. Elmo with head wound.
Tickle me, smell mo.
Bye. I'm more like Elmo's sidekick, Zoe.
There you go. Baby of mine. Ooh, I'm always there beside you, no matter where you stop. I'll follow you to movies, even to the barber shop. Now, eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Eager beaver, baby. Well, what are you gonna do with this eager beaver, baby?